in my RV for about 4 years now. And if you would have asked me when I first started doing this, if I'd still be doing it in 4 years, I tell you, I don't know. Because RV life can be completely different depending on which side of the camera you're on. You see campfires, you see sunsets, you see people sitting around a campfire enjoying the sunsets, eating marshmallows, s'mores, whatever. But you don't see the other side of it. You definitely don't see the part where 3 people are living together in a 32-foot camper 24/7. So today I'm going to answer the question I've asked myself quite a few times, and that is, would I choose RV life again? And you know what? The answer might actually surprise you. When I first started living in an RV, I guess part of me expected it to feel like an extended camping trip. You know what I mean? Because I pictured, the weather being beautiful, making coffee in the morning, stepping outside and sitting outside and enjoying my coffee, campfires at night, beautiful sunsets. And actually, there are RV parts of the RV life that are actually like that. I love being able to step outside and have the campground atmosphere. I love the fact that I don't have a giant house that I have to keep maintenance on. I mean, you have to maintain this also, but it's different. And there are definitely moments when I look around and I say, okay, I actually like this. But then there are other moments where I look around and I say, why did I do this again? Because during those moments, you actually realize this isn't a vacation. This is actually your home. This is where you live, and you don't get to leave. And that's a whole nother thing. The biggest thing I don't think people realize getting into RV living is space, or lack thereof. In a normal house, you can go to another room when somebody's getting on your nerves, shut the door. I mean, there are certain RVs I'm sure you can do that in, but you can't in mine. I mean, at a regular house, you can go in the kitchen and sit, you can go in the living room and sit, you can go sit anywhere else and not have to see somebody or hear somebody because you're so close to each other, like feet from each other. Most of the time, the person you're trying to get away from is like literally 6 steps away from you. And even if you do close the door, you're still aware they're there. And you can't cuss them under your breath because they can hear you. Because that's one of the things that I've really struggled with the most. And it's not that I don't love the people I live with. I love my husband and I love my son. But, because everybody needs their personal space. And when you don't have it, these little things that bother you in a normal house turn into these big things that bother you in an RV. Somebody's watching TV too loud and you can't hear your phone. Somebody's cooking and making a mess. Somebody's, showering and you smell, or using the bathroom in general and you smell that. The most annoying thing is when somebody leaves something sitting around because you have this much space. Not literally, but you know what I mean? And you leave a bowl sitting on the counter and it looks like you haven't done the dishes for a month. You know what I mean? Like, it gets annoying. And then all of a sudden I'm thinking, can I just not have 5 minutes to myself where somebody's not talking, somebody's not listening to the TV really loud or playing music really loud or making a mess? Can I just have 5 minutes without anyone asking me for something? I mean, I know that's normal in anything, in any situation. But it seems like in an RV, it's like harder because you can't get away from it. And then there's storage. And all these RV manufacturers like to show all this storage. But if you get right down to it, you do not have the storage you would have in a house. It is a quarter, not even a quarter of the storage you have in a house. Because you do have a lot of cabinets, but they're this tall and this deep. So you can't really put a whole lot in them. I mean, in a house, in a kitchen, you have tons of cabinet space. So if you have a lot of dishes, a lot of pots and pans because you like to cook, You can't have that here because there's no space for them. Not have food, too. In mine, anyway. I mean, in a regular house, you can just throw something in a closet, close the door, and forget about it. But you can't do that here because there's not really enough room to do that here. Everything has to have a place, and if it doesn't have a place, it ends up sitting somewhere that you have to constantly move it to somewhere else because it gets in the way of something you have. Like, if I have plants that I sit up behind my sink, but when I do dishes, I have to move the plants over to the shelf. So my husband finally just built me a shelf so my plants can have a place to sit. But it's like, and if I want to use my air fryer, I have to bring it out, put it back, which I fixed that too. I put it in my bunk room and it never moves, but it's annoying because I have to climb up the steps to get into my bunk room. Yada, 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 And privacy, or lack thereof. I don't think this is something people talk about enough at all. Sometimes you just want to be alone. Not because you're mad, not because something's wrong. Sometimes you just want to be alone, just yourself. Nobody asking for anything. I know that happens everywhere, but sometimes in an RV it's harder. And if you're like me and you create content from your RV, it becomes 100 times more complicated because you have to ask everybody to be quiet, shut off all the devices, the fans, all the noise so that you can record without noise in the background. Because myself, if I'm watching content and all I hear is a TV and loudness, I don't want to watch that content because I feel like it's annoying. So I have to make my husband and my son leave the house, turn everything off so that I can spend 10 minutes recording. And here's the thing that I don't talk about enough. If RV life was so bad, I wouldn't still be doing it after 4 years. I really wouldn't. I mean, there are genuinely things that I love about it. I like the simplicity. I like that it's not a big house that you have to take care of. I like that I can clean this whole place from top to bottom in 20 minutes. Bedroom, kitchen area, living room area, dining room area, which is all one room, bathroom, bunk room, 20 minutes. I like being outside. I like the campground life. I love the people that live out here. They're my family, they're my community, they're my people. They always have my back. That's one of the things that I really love. And I really, really love the RV life has forced me to learn to live with less and realize what I actually need versus what I want. Sometimes that's the hardest part. You learn pretty quickly that you can't leave those 47 things laying around that you thought you might use in the future because they're just holding space that you don't have to hold. And you do learn that eventually. And honestly, I'm still working on that part because I constantly am having to monthly go into my bunk room where I do my arts and crafts and empty it out, get rid of things that I don't really need that I keep trying to keep because I think I might use them in the future. And trust and believe, sometimes that's too many things, like a grocery bag full of stuff, because I go to secondhand stores and consignment stores and I'll see something that's 50 cents or $1 that I think, oh, you know what? I might have a project for that. And then it sits all month and does nothing. So I have to get rid of it. I don't necessarily throw it away as so much as I give it away to somebody that might need it. Like my sister-in-law does crafts too. So usually it goes to her. She has a huge room that she can do it in. I don't. So would I do it again? Honestly, I am not 100% sure about that. Because in 4 years, I've learned a lot. I've had good experiences. I've had tough times. I've had annoying times. But the good have outweighed the bad. I've also learned what I can tolerate. I've learned to figure out what I need versus what I want. It's still, like I said, I'm still working on it. I've also learned that the amount of space isn't necessarily the problem. It's the lack of personal space that's the problem, and there's a huge difference. And I think there's some questions that people should ask themselves before moving into their RV, and the main one is, can I actually live in 32 feet of space? Now, some people probably have 40 foot and bigger, or smaller even. You gotta ask yourself though, can I live comfortably in that space? Because at the end of the day, RV life isn't terrible. It's not the perfect life either. It's just, I guess it's just life. I mean, I guess it's just life inside a smaller box. I mean, there's days that I love it, and there are days where I look around and I think, how have I managed to do this for 4 years? So, but here we are, and if you're thinking about moving into your RV, don't let social media convince you that it's a permanent vacation, because it's not. There's going to be cramped spaces, clutter, campground drama. There will be days where you desperately need 5 minutes alone, but there will also be really, really good days. And those days are the reason a lot of us continue to do it, including me. So my honest answer, would I do RV life again? Maybe, but this time I would go into it knowing the things that I didn't know going into it before. So, I mean, it's possible. Either way, I would know things that I wish people would had told me when I started, and that's what I want to tell you guys, is what things that I didn't know so that you know. And if you live in your RV, tell me in the comments what's one thing you wish you would have known before you started. And if you're thinking about living in your RV, stick around. Because around here, I talk about RV reality that nobody asked for. And hey, if you like my content, subscribe, because I talk about it every single day.